Hey everybody, welcome back to the Four String Strummer, the channel. It's all about ukuleles. Today we're going to be talking about banjo ukuleles. And more importantly, we're going to be talking about our new Kelly brand of ukuleles that we are launching. So I'm really pumped about this. People have been saying, oh, where have you been this summer? And I've been working really hard on this, and I've been working on this for a couple of years now, to be honest. And so I've finally gotten it to the point now where we're ready to launch. And as you folks know, I love ukulele, but even more than regular ukulele, I love banjo ukulele. I've been working really closely, as you guys know, for the last while with Duke banjo ukuleles. And just to be clear, that is not changing at all. This is going to be an as well as product, not an instead of product. Jamie Houston at Duke Banjo Ukuleles is an awesome guy to work with, great company, and he really stands behind his stuff. And so this is just basically going to be an extension of the product line that I'm able to offer. Really, a lot of this came up because over the years I've been listening to people's feedback about what they want, my own feedback in terms of what I like to play, the sound that I like, etc. And so there's a few things that I really wanted to get to with this. I think we've got the upper end of the market pretty well covered here with the Duke. But I do have people that ask me, do you have something that's a little bit less expensive? I don't really need, sort of a gig ready kind of an instrument. I'm not playing professionally or anything. I'd like something that I can kind of start out with, but I don't want a really inexpensive instrument that I feel like I'm taking a risk on when I'm buying it. And to date, we really haven't had something that's that much less expensive that I felt comfortable with. The other thing that I hear a lot about is the sort of the blaring sound of a banjo ukulele, and people are all freaked out because they think they're so loud. So I factored that in. And the other thing is the overly twangy sound of a banjo ukulele. Now, again, some of the stuff, there's nothing wrong with that if that's the sound that you want. But I've tried to tone that down a little bit as well. So if you're playing at a song circle or whatever, it's not something that's going to be off-putting to the rest of the members in the group. And they're not going to kind of, want to shun you from the group, or you feel like you got to stick a sock in the back to quiet it down or whatever. So again, I've put all those things into the recipe here, and I think I've come up with something that should really meet those needs. All right, so first of all, let's just take a look at the instrument. This has an 8-inch pot, which is nice and small. The great thing with this is, we have people that have Dukes, for instance, and they want something that they can maybe take up to their cottage, take to the camp, to the trailer, on the boat, whatever, and they don't want to carry like the hard shell case and an expensive more expensive instrument with them. So they're looking for something maybe for a second instrument. So these are a little bit smaller. This has a standard 8-inch pot as opposed to the 10-inch on the Duke. Okay, still maintains a pretty lightweight structure on it. I'm a sucker for gloss, so to me it had to have a bit of gloss on it. So these are kind of a glossy finish on them, and if you look at it, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but it's not a black there. You can kind of see it there, how it's sort of a dark red color, and I really like it. Just the finish on these is just beautiful. Also, it has a bound fretboard, which just looks really nice, keeps the sharp tangs of the frets in check a little bit better, and also it is bound here on the back. So this is a closed back instrument. So the nice thing again is that you have that variability. If you want to close it, you can close it. If you want to take that off, open it up, you can do that too. You'll notice a slight difference in the sound. There's not really that much though, if I'm being 100% honest. But you can play around with that, and again, that's up to you. My goal is to try and get you the sound that you prefer. Okay, so you've got variability right there as well. All of these instruments come with the maple bridge with the ebony top on the bridge, and that really helps to transmit the sound the best to the head. Now, as far as the head goes, these all have Remo brand banjo heads on them. Okay, so again, that's a brand that everybody knows and loves when it comes to banjos. I've gone with the standard tuners on here. I didn't go with the fancy planetary style. These are a little bit, I find a little bit easier to get used to than the geared planetary ones. Not a huge difference, but anyway, I just kind of like the look of them, and they work really nice and smoothly. They're closed, sealed tuners on there. Okay, string wise, so we're going to talk a little bit about strings today. One of the things that's obviously going to change the sound of the instrument are the strings that you put on it. So I wanted to go with something that was a little bit warmer sounding. Okay, like again, one of the beautiful things with the Duke is a lot of people like it because it has that really warm sound. Now, you can warm the sound up a couple of different ways. One is with the strings, and this particular instrument is going to come with the Aquila Super Nile Gut strings on it. It gives a really nice tone, good resonance, and obviously Aquila, everybody knows the brand, and it keeps it a little bit more on the warm side. All right, there's going to be options available for strings, so just hang on to that. The other thing that is on this instrument that helps to give it a bit of a distinct sound is the length of the neck. So if you have an instrument with a longer neck, it basically moves in a standard sized pot, it will move the bridge farther into the center. Okay, now if you look at something like a Duke, these are really unique because the bridge is almost in the middle of the head. Okay, that's not normal, and that's really what gives the Duke part of its unique sound. Okay, most instruments, most banjos have it back around here somewhere. So this instrument's neck is probably about not quite an inch longer than some of the other ones that are in this sort of size, and that helps to move the bridge forward a little bit more. Okay, and that again gives you a little bit of a warmer sound rather than a really overly jangly, twangy kind of a super banjo sound. Again, nothing wrong with that if that's what you like, right? But what we're shooting for this one is a little bit more on the warmer side. All right, so we've got this one. It comes in high G. You're also going to be able to get it with a low G. You're going to be able to get it in a high G with a fluorocarbon string, which I'll play them all and you'll hear them all. And you're going to be able to get it in a low G with a fluorocarbon string. All right, I'll do some sound samples for you here in a second. And the other thing that I want to go over really quickly is the accessories that come with this. So the idea here is to have sort of an upper end entry-level instrument, I guess. I don't know how else to put it, but that has good quality, right? There's nothing wrong with ordering instruments off of Amazon. I've done it myself, and I've been happy with some of them. Some of them I'm not happy with, and I think the issue is that a lot of people get an instrument, and they just don't know because they're just starting out. They're not that experienced with it, so they get an instrument, and they think that's the way it's supposed to be. And it's got, sharp edges on the frets, and there's buzzes in it. It's not well set up. The action is high, etc., etc. With this instrument, I want to make sure that people have a good instrument, and I'll go through what I'm going to do about that, and that they have good accessories as well. So this instrument is going to come not with just a bag. It's going to have a proper padded gig bag, okay, not just a cloth bag. It's got double-ended zippers here. We'll just unzip it. Nothing super fancy, but it's built to protect your instrument. So when you go to your local group or you take it away on the weekend camping or whatever, it's going to have better protection on it, okay? It also has a little zippered pocket here that you can put an extra package of strings in if you like, a capo, your tuner, etc., etc., okay? Now, this instrument will also come with a tuner, and the tuner will be set up specifically for ukulele, but you can also use it for your guitar, you can use it for violin, or you can just set it as a chromatic tuner as well. All right, now let's talk a little bit about quality control, right? And again, this is where it differs, so that if you're buying one of these Kelly brand instruments, each one of these instruments will be set up by me personally, right here in the shop. I make sure that I check the action, I go through, I check all the frets, I play it myself. So every instrument that goes out the door, I will have played myself personally before it leaves the shop. Okay, I have about a 40-point checklist that I go through on my quality control, and that's the same checklist that I use when I ship out all the Dukes. I do all the quality control for them, and they're all checked here. I go through the entire checklist. And so each instrument that goes out will have that. Okay, so again, that's something that you're going to get from me that you're not going to get when you're purchasing an instrument through Amazon. The other thing is that, again, back to the strings, you're going to be able to have the opportunity to have the instrument set up the way that you like it, with the sound that you like, whether it's high G, whether it's low G, whether it's the super Nalgut strings or the Aquila red strings. I'll have other strings available down the road as well, and you'll be able to just check that off. All right. Now the packages that I'm going to have available, I'll put them, they'll all be on my website, and I'll put links for you here. The package is basically going to be, and I'm going to quote in Canadian money right now, and down here I'll put the US rough equivalent in today's exchange rates. So these are going to go for $199 Canadian. Okay, that's going to include the instrument, it's going to include the gig bag, it's going to include the tuner, and it's also going to include, on this opening offer, the Intro to Plaidman lessons. So that's a package of 3 online lessons, and those sell for $150 normally online. So you're getting $350 worth of package, the instrument, the gig bag, the tuner, and the lessons for $200 Canadian. So, you know, the way I look at it is, I have people contacting me, hey, I'd like to, you know, get some lessons with you. And I think, you know what, now is the time. Like, if you're thinking about doing some lessons, do it now, because with this, the 3 lessons for basically another $50 plus shipping, you're getting the instrument as well. All right, so it's a really good package. Now, folks, honestly, this isn't going to go on forever, and I'm not trying to be some, you know, telemarketer kind of guy. Wait, don't answer yet. But this won't last forever. I'm going to do this probably for like the first 10 instruments. Then I'm going to probably end up changing the deal and, you know, do something else, because I can't stack up too many students like that. But anyway, if you want to get in on that, that's going to be the opening offer. Let's have a listen to how great these little instruments sound now. All right, here we go. Pretty nice, eh? All right, this is the Aquila Reds in high G. You'll notice this has a little bit of a brighter sound. It cuts through a little bit more volume as well. So if you like that kind of a sound, this may be the string for you. All right, so we're in the low G here now. I got the super Nalgut low G. And the nice thing with this is that with the super Nalgut strings and also the Aquila Reds, you don't really have to adjust the nut. And so if you decide later that you want to go back and play it just as a high G, don't worry, like you're not going to have to get the nut reworked. All right, so here it is in low G, and I'm going to play it with a pick to give you an even different sound. Nice, right? You can play the country style with that. You can also play Irish music, and I've been playing a lot of that lately. I'll play a little ditty for you here in sort of an Irish style. All right, let's try it out now with Tequila Reds in the low G. A little bit more punch, a little bit brighter, a little bit more volume. All right, let's try a little bit of the Irish stuff now. All right, folks, well, let me know what you think. What's your favorite sound? Drop it down into the comments section. And again, folks, if you're interested in doing some lessons for not much more than the price of 3 lessons, you're getting an instrument, a gig bag, and the tuner all thrown in with it. All right, any questions at all? Get it down in the comments section. I'm always more than happy to help you out. And until we see you next time, keep smiling, keep strumming, and have fun. Maybe with one of these new Kelly brand banjo ukuleles. Bye for now.